Blog
Hello,
Talk
everybody.
Radio.
Yes, good night. Hello, This is Irene Ratliff with Street Meat Company, Salubrious. Today is Monday, June 30th, 2014. Street Meat Company is a community organization, and as a new seed in our garden, we are seeking partners and sponsorships, such as our community organizations and government entities that are aligned with our interests to help ameliorate those that can improve our community. This is 646-564-9776. I wanted to say that let me go outside a little bit so that I can just kind of discuss the phone calls and the kind of connections that I made today. I was able to speak with this gentleman, Mr. Russian, and he's a part of the NPUP. I wanted to elaborate about those things, as I mentioned numerous times before. Join your local neighborhood association. Wow. I was kind of like, whoa, they doing this, they doing that. They got this going on, they got that going on. So I wanted to make sure that I reiterate that again. Please join your neighborhood NPU. It's called Neighborhood Planning Unit. And what it is that they have these NPUs. They're inside of our community, and you're able to, they have a lot of stuff going on. Now, I ain't going to fib to you. I think a lot of it's kind of lengthy. Some of that stuff is not that concerned, especially when you assume that they can go to some of these areas. But if they had the people participating in these things, it would be easier for certain things and maybe even the access to the city of Atlanta, because this is more city of Atlanta than it is maybe Fulton County, even though we live in Fulton County. But if you are part of an NPUP, or if you live in your community, get involved with your NPUP, they may have certain things going on. Now, I ain't going to fib to you. I've gone to a couple of meetings, and, you know, everything in itself, when you think about it, it can be reinforced, okay, or it can be restructured, or it can be supported, okay? So he was explaining to me about the land use. Yes, I have an interest in land use. You know, I live in the community. I don't per se actually own property in the community, and that's the thing. You know, I was kind of like, oh, well, I wonder if I could talk about my community and I live in an apartment. Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, yes, yes. Because the thing is that you live here, and you want to make sure that here it is, whatever input or whatever advice that is in terms of how you would like to see it grow and develop, because we also pay our money and our taxes too. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Even if they want to say like this apartment complex was private, it doesn't matter. It still pays. It's not separated like, let's say, a military base or something. Okay, even though we have our own functioning water, and there may be some electricity because here it is, this is that, and the other, still have the commonalities of what's going on inside the community, okay? It in itself is part of the community. It's not separated. You understand? Like the military is separated from the community, but it's in the community. You understand? But that doesn't mean that the military man can't go out there and shop at stores and all that kind of stuff. Okay? So the thing is that, yes, be involved, okay? But I wanted to have this conversation and that expression tonight to explain and express just that. Okay? Please get involved with your local neighborhood planning unit. You can find them out at the Atlanta, is AtlantaGA.gov, AtlantaGA.gov. So you have to, AtlantaGA.gov, and get involved with that. I also wanted to say that today I made some other phone calls, and, you know, to tell you the truth, I guess, you know, no, because I'm coming from another angle where my promotion is to try to talk to people in their community and get them involved. So my organization, or here the Street Meat organization, it's vitality, and this is just as valid as here it is some other things. You understand? Because as I was speaking to this man here in regards to what's going on in this community, you know, I had tried to explain to him that our interest would be for us to actually invest in businesses that are developing, businesses that are a reflection of the community, okay? So his conversation was, okay, well, we just want people to come in, which is fine because we don't want to discriminate, you know, we don't want to discriminate one pocket over the other, okay? So but we want to appear like we want to actually support let's say, mid-range businesses. Because the thing is that mid-range businesses may, for an example, as I mentioned to him, Fat Burger. Now, Fat Burger may have a few stores, but we also know that it's a developing organization. You know, I was like, man, the quality of the burgers are like, the quality of the burgers is like, let's say, Fuddruckers, okay? And, you know, opposed to, let's say, okay, let's just throw a McDonald's or here it is, a Burger King, because we know that they have, you know, they do have 1 billion or more people who shop and who invest in their organization. So mid-range, you know, it is okay for us to try to see if we can get TAMs over here. so, so all that is to say, you know, hey, knowing what you're trying to invest in, and how do we as a community invest in whatever that is so that we also can improve what that is. You understand where I'm coming from? Okay. I don't know, for some reason I'm kind of wrangling like, oh, okay, I wonder for real, huh? We are a gated community. Anyway, another thing, too, there was an interest. I do go to the local park in this area, okay? So the thing is I go to Ben Hill, and the conversation was that there was someone, as I had called Iona back from Parks and Rec, and I'm like, wow, girlfriend, I just called you back because I want to know what you guys are doing. I was thinking about some trees over here in this area. They said, well, they just bought this park area over here, and they want to make, they want a swimming pool. I said, what? Find out about how much this swimming pool is going to cost. And they got all this information about this possible swimming pool. And yes, videos, yes, they do. Oh, God, is it private? No, it's public. So, yes, I want to imply just that, like, yay! Okay, yeah, I want to get for real. I was just kind of going on the conversation, but let's define what's public and what's private. Let me ask these young ladies a question, because I told you I'm out here on the street. I actually used the phone because it was taking too long to get up on Skype. You know, so let me ask them a question. Good night. Okay, let me ask y'all a quick question. Are stars like Nicki Minaj, would you consider her to be public or private? Okay, what about 50 Cent? Okay, so you're saying even though they're entertainers, they're still public? Okay, so what makes a people private? No, that doesn't make any sense. Like to tell you the truth, we're private. Like if we own our home or something, that's private. Right. Oh, okay, you good, but they public figures though, right? Okay, thank you for your support. See y'all later. Okay, okay, so here it is. We have stars who want to sit there and say, oh, well, we see them. They will argue about, here it is, somebody being private, and they want to privatize. Huh, hold up. Okay, stars are actually public people. People that we see in entertainment, they're public people. And when we look at public figures, then we assume certain positions, such as, let's say, here it is, people who do politics, they're public figures. But the thing is that they also have some security. You know, we have to consider a lot of different factors of why a person may have security or why they may need it. But when you have stars who feel like they want to shelter themselves, for what reason do you think that happens? You know, back in the day, you know, when we used to watch Sanford and Sons, you know, they used to walk around in the community, okay? So it wasn't that we had to, oh, here it is, well, we have to see our people a certain kind of way. Well, you know, what's wrong with, here it is, people roaming in our community? You know, why should we, especially if they're public figures, why should they feel like they have to, you know, need extra security or something like that? So why do you think that actually established that way? I'm just, because for some reason, motherfuckers wasn't, excuse me. Oh, I'm on phone. I apologize for that. Want to sit there and want to talk about how public figures that we give our money to are private. Now, what is private is somebody's business. That's private. But when you out there and you entertaining, or you feel like you're a public figure, or you speaking, voicing your concerns about the community, or if you voicing your concerns about what kind of stuff you are displaying on TV or anything, that's public. Now, what has happened is that those people have shelled themselves and felt like they were just exclusive. Okay, so now we have to ask these people who feel like they're in stardom land, who want to feel like they're satellites, or here it is, they're stars and all these different things. Why do you think that they suppose that? So the same thing with a banker. So here it is, are bankers private? No, they're public figures. Okay, you could go right there to Wall Street. Oh, they do handle large accounts and large sums of volumes of this, that, and the other. So right now, here it is. What does that mean? Oh boy, really? Okay, so this, I don't know. We have to understand what private and public is. And then here it is, when it has happened, me being a private woman, me being a private citizen, and then me being exposed publicly a certain kind of way to say fitting for some other spotty scheme. Now you have interfered with my privacy. Okay? Now, now I'm out here on the streets, I'm knocking on doors, it's public, but my private business, like, here it is, what is those things? DNA profiling, just like racial profile, that's private. Okay? What kind of conversation I have going on in my house and all that, that's private. So let's make sure that here it is, we understand what that is. Me collaborating and communicating with people, here it is, me being on this phone and stuff like this, and I'm talking into, here it is, the people who are on the radio and all, they're public. Okay? So when I look at here it is certain things, wow, really? So people make their money, maybe they want to protect their goods, maybe they want to protect them. So you have to ask why Lady Gaga feel like she's private, but she's a public figure. They go out there, they entertain. Okay? So understanding the difference. When somebody will say, well, here it is, they see them, and yet here it is, what do you mean they see them? We're private. Everybody's private. Okay? Now, when you become a public figure, you public. When you want to protect your privacy, and yet here it is, now we're talking about our constitutional rights. Oh, we're going to sell this on the market, like here it is, like the human marketplace. Now you're infringing on my space. Okay? And so here it is, they don't want another person to do that, but then at that same token, now here it is, most of the stuff that go on the New York Stock Exchange, how the frick you going to sit there and apply to humans need to be on the marketplace? At that point, now you're infringing on that thing. Okay, we have constitutional rights to talk about privacy. When we start to open up things and put this on the human marketplace, now that's a concern. Now here it is, you have taken something that is private, made it public, because you want to go back and forth, and they want to say to somebody, well, here it is, like here it is, tricking somebody and all that kind of thing and all that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, understanding what this, that, and the other is, okay? All right. Okay, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, okay, they're public. But here it is, their private life is private. What they share with the magazines is public. Okay? Why do you feel like they need security? Why for real? Over period? Why do you suppose that? Did somebody threaten them? Did somebody sit there? Did the groupies in them? Did people chase after them? Let me tell you what happened. What happened was is that when we had these basketball players and they were out there having sex with all these multiple women and creating these groupies, then here it is, they needed some shelter. Who needs a shelter? Didn't you have these people that go to these concerts? Remember back in the day, Michael Jackson. Well, what it was is that they didn't want the crowds of people, because you do have some people who are fanatics when it comes down to certain entertainment. So at that point, what that meant is that, okay, we want to shelter these people from, maybe doing any bodily harm. It became something of insurance. Okay? But an average person who may do certain entertainment, what is it, because of their money? We got a lot of people walking around as the public, they have money. Okay, getting off of that. I want to say, of course, you know that we have Sugar Eagle. That's going to be Sunday, right? Sunday, July 6th, 2 p.m. Okay, I'm sorry. I just kind of got a little laugh at that, when we look at here it is, some of these other people and how these other people want to filter things a certain kind of way. And then now at that point it becomes a concern because somebody else then said this because somebody wants to game on it. Now it's a concern because here it is, whatever they said, it became a concern of Social Security in the ring. They would sit here and try to say, oh, look here, we want this man. Oh, here, this, that, and the other. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, but here, there ain't nothing wrong with no man. It ain't nothing, but hold up. Over this period of time, since the time that I wrote Street Meat, here it is, where in there that I feel like I felt like I wanted to communicate about a man. So they want to tell me about this rich man. Then they want to tell, or, affluent man. Then they want to tell me about some street man, and there's an associated with the other street man. And you explain to me what you think is the difference. What? Here it is, what man to feel like he don't want to provide and give to his mama? That man would be what you want to call him. What man sitting there want to sit there and perpetrate, and here it is a female, and then here it is, what? Anyway, this stuff is kind of a community affairs and ecosystems, baby, because the thing is that when we look at here it is the well-being of us, and here it is the goodness of us, and here it is, okay, and that thing that is implied in our community, and when we look at our family, we look at our men, our women, our children, hey, I'm going to let you know right now, yes, while they want to sit here and explain the quad, I understand just that. What position? I should change the scope of how you see you. Damn, we're valuable. Oh, okay. Wow, really? Okay, so anyway, July 6, 2014 at the Southwest Cascade Library at 2 o'clock, we're going to have Street Meat Mingle. Yes, as I mentioned before, you please, bring your blankets, maybe some drums and all that kind of stuff. Maybe we could dance and all that. La, 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 la. Oh yeah, that one somewhere else, but they do have a park area. Then we also have, what else is coming up? Yeah, there's just so many other things that, as I stated before, you go on Street Meat's calendar. I did mention to you that I was going to try to get into Nguzo Saba. I didn't write anything today. That's a tip. I don't know. They're talking about writer's block, but it takes some people. Stephen King take him years to write a book. Okay, Stephen King was a Spielberg, hey, it takes him a while to do those kind of things, okay? So and the expression is just that. Listen, when we're trying to pick up ourselves a certain kind of way, I just want us to understand when we're mauling things or when we feel like here it is, it's like, okay, we could build, but why would you feel like we should tear that up? Oh, here it is, they figured they didn't say, listen, here it is, anything that's coming through those things a certain kind of way over this period of years, I don't give a flying flip if you want to call it Illuminati or here it is, any of those people who want to call themselves the Camril and the Kama Sutra, it does not matter. What we have to understand is just that whatever has gone on, because I have written materials on what my experience is, that I myself personally do not find it entertaining. I find it to be foul, and I would call them foul feet while they want to talk about pedophiles. You understand where I'm coming from? Because they were going back and forth about children and parents. Now, when I look at me, and then I look at here it is, a people, a group of people, and they want to sit here and say, oh, here it is, well, over about 10 years ago or more, right? So here it is. Now we can understand and differentiate. Here it is, what somebody has to say about their backyard, and why does it look like that? So when you have these people who want to associate, it's interesting. When they had to hit the 9/11 and all that kind of stuff, and we look at some of the Middle Eastern issues, people wanted to take they had those people in the Middle East talking about they claimed that, but that's false. Here it is, that blackface stuff. Just people blackfacing things and just going here. But we're black and we're white. Oh, here it is. Look, we're Radiohead. Hey, hold on. There are some people who they want to take credit or have credit for doing foul stuff. Now, I know that here it is. Certain things ain't quite like that. I ain't gonna argue with you, okay? Okay. So why would people want to associate themselves with foulness? We want to be good. We are good people, you see. Now here it is when we look at our communities and we've seen that it has changed over a period of time. I find it funny and interesting because here it is, they want to talk about good company and bad company. And they want to talk about here it is, certain aspects. But what I've gone through, I see it just like that. There's a need for reparations. Oh, here it is. I'm like, well, honey, if they was just giving me my dough anyway, they want me going about my business, then why in the freak would they be concerned about that? Oh, that's right, they're gambling. We're on the public human marketplace. Bob Marley would sing about these things in his songs of freedom. And so did, here it is, Third World and all those other people too. You know, the reggae people. Well, I tell you the God, goodness truth, what's going on? Wow, but we also, because here it is, we got long nails, and here it is, we're priests and priestesses on pole position. Anyway, people, I ain't going to be chit-chatting with you guys all night about flats. Uh-huh. All right. Let me, I guess read my little script here and there. It is evening. And I want to say, as usual, as usual, thankful. There's so many things to do, and we value your support, okay? And as I said before, please go to your MP. This is something that I kind of can't put anyway, because I understand that there is an importance in doing just that. Getting involved with your community and blase, okay? Street company, there's other people who are here and there, blase. Some people in their community, their neighborhoods, and we're community. We also want to have a vital voice of what's going on. Let me see, hold on. And thanks for joining Street Meet the Point listening audience, and hope to have your support. We accept donations, crowdfunding support, and your participation. Everyone is valuable in your participation to help yourself, family, community, local, state, region, federal, and global community relies on the many people that contribute to it being an effective structure. Thanks again. Good night, salubrious. And the reason why I'm kind of rushing through this is because I'm not on my headphone set. I'm on the phone. And I don't know about this. The clarity should be good because I went outside and I actually spoke about certain things. But please visit www.streetmeet.biz and our Connect partner, www.meetup.com/me. Okay? TTYL, y'all. TTYL. What? Good night.